In The Lord of the Rings of Power, Who is the Stranger? Here is what we know about the Meteor Man from Middle-earth, along with some of our opinions. Characters on the ground gazing up in amazement as a fiery meteor streaked across the sky was a major theme in Amazon's marketing for the Rings of Power. The happy trailers showed that this object was actually a hairy, human guy whose landing caused a crater on Earth to burst into flames. Daniel Wayman portrays this celestial guest, who is credited as the Stranger but is more generally known by the nickname Meteor Man. Nori the Harfoot, portrayed by Markella Kavanagh, discovers him. Since the start of the marketing campaign for the Rings of Power, Amazon has kept Meteor Man's actual identity and purpose a secret. Even after viewing episodes 1 and 2, there is still a lingering sense of uncertainty. The two young Harfoots assist the Stranger in getting better after his fall, but they are miserably out of their element and are even less aware of what is happening than the audience is. Fortunately, not everything is a mystery. By the time the two-part Amazon debut was over, Meteor Man's abilities, personality, and purpose had all been discussed. Here is every significant clue that has so far been disclosed about the mysterious Meteor Man from the Rings of Power, along with some rough guesses and hypotheses about where this plot will go in Episode 3. The first thing the Rings of Power make clear about Meteor Man is that he wasn't unexpected in his arrival. The more cautious of the two hunters exclaims, "Something's amiss here," during the opening Harfoot sequence of the Rings of Power Episode 1. Two hunters comment on how unusual it is that there is nothing to hunt. Then, in a later scene, Sadok Burrows of Lenny Henry accuses the stars of shining when they shouldn't be, as if they are watching for something, and remarks that hunters showing up out of season is a terrible omen. According to the Rings of Power, it nearly looks as though Middle-earth itself can sense something from the unusual behavior of wolves and stars that Meteor Man is about to arrive. Burrows also carries a large, dusty book with illustrations of stars, hunters, and wolves. This book may contain an old Harfoot prophecy about Meteor Man's arrival. The Rings of Power watchers may at least presume that this bearded mumbler hasn't just sprung out of nowhere, but rather is a part of a larger plan that fate has already written. It's not science fiction to crash after soaring into the air in a ball of flame. When Nori discovers that this fire doesn't burn her, the fantasy nonsense begins. Daniel Wayman's figure from the Rings of Power spins the nearby flame and rock into the air in the astonishment of waking, demonstrating beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is a magical entity. The Stranger then bends trees to tower menacingly above Nori on another occasion, and his ultimate ruse involves whispering commands to fireflies. When paired with the aforementioned omens and the fact that Meteor Man's magic thus far focuses solely on manipulating nature, it is possible that he is inextricably related to Tolkien's Middle-earth. A darker aspect is also hinted at in the Rings of Power. Nori's dad breaks his foot when Meteor Man angrily snaps his drawing stick. The back-and-forth editing of the episode suggests that magic was to blame for Largo's accident, and the narrative intensifies in the Rings of Power Episode 2 when Nori observes that her new friend's firefly exhibition kills the animals as soon as their function is completed. These ominous sights can suggest that Meteor Man lacks control over his abilities, as well as a covert lack of compassion towards other living things. Unfortunately, Meteor Man himself is more interested in eating snails and drawing in dirt than he is in offering solutions. The deceased spaceman is unable to speak clearly and is unaware of his identity or species. It's possible that Meteor Man's traumatic entry into Middle-earth caused his memory loss, but it's also possible that entering Middle-earth forced him to forget who he really was, just like Gandalf and the wizards only vaguely recall Valinor. The Rings of Power Episode 2's closing scenes give viewers a glimpse of Meteor Man's motivation as he uses Nori and Poppy's firefly lights to trace constellations in the night sky. The right answer from Nori is that Meteor Man is searching for these specific stars. Since Nori can't exactly identify the stars her big buddy is looking for, the Rings of Power are, as expected, making her new mission difficult. Maybe there's just one area in Middle-earth where you can see the constellation of Meteor Man. The constellations might have been from millennia ago, when young Harfoots like Nori Brandifoot wouldn't have known about stars that have since burned out. Nori may learn precisely which ancient stars the Stranger is charting with a simple conversation with Sadok Burrows and a glance through his enormous book of secrets. First of all, our mysterious visitor must be quite old if he can recall stars that haven't existed for hundreds of years, despite the fact that he obviously lacks pointed ears and good looks. Nori should be asking Meteor Man why he is looking for stars, not which stars he is looking for. The arrangement of the stars at night will probably signpost to a particular place in Middle-earth, and it is there that the stranger's actual mission rests. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment, subscribe, and give us a like.